I teach leadership classes for a living. That's one of my jobs. And one of the things we always tell our students, and our students come from Yale, Harvard, um, Stanford, and these are all corporate people that get hired by the corporate companies, and then we come in and do a leadership class for them. Um, One of the easiest things that we tell people about leadership is the simplest definition is basically a leader is someone that will get people to come together to get to a common goal. Basically, that's it. Always remember that. As long as you keep it simple that way, you can always remember what leadership is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting people together to come together to achieve a common goal, and that's all it is. You know, a good leader will always be a good listener.
For sure.
Yep.
He will be knowledgeable. He doesn't have to be the most knowledgeable on the team. He just has to be knowledgeable enough to use his people as his resources to the best of their abilities. You know,
Right, because how could a leader who didn't know what they were talking about lead a group to build a goal? So I agree. You definitely have to know what you're doing in order to lead that group.
Yeah, 100%.
exactly. You know, there was a thing with Henry Ford, of course, ages ago, and we all know that Henry Ford had what, sixth grade education, eighth grade education, and this man with that kind of education created $1 billion business. And some news reporter asked him, excuse me, that's my Spanish coming out. Asked him what made him qualified to run back then a multi-million-dollar company. He told the guy, it's something we use in the class when we teach, is he looked at all the reporters and said, ask me any question, and within 5 minutes, I'll give you the answer. And they were like, really? He goes, yes. Within 5 minutes, I could get somebody down here in front of you to give you the answer. And that's what a true leader will do. He will evaluate his people, see what their strengths are in what area, and then use them to the best of his ability to achieve that goal. It's somewhat what we do in the military and in the State Department when I was a federal agent there, and what we do now when I teach cops and military.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I think one part of the textbook talked about that path goal theory, where like the leader evaluates kind of what type of followers they have, what kind of tasks they have, and chooses the right leadership communication strategy to bring those two items together and then move forward. So I thought any good leader that I've ever worked for was really skilled at figuring out what kind of people they had, kind of like you said, and who was good at what, people in the right role to accomplish that goal.
That's exactly it. What a lot of leaders do is basically give orders and micromanage without letting their people actually do most of the work and let them have some type of input. There'll be times where they won't be able to give the input because you got to get the mission and the goal done. So, but they'll.
It's like the difference between being a leader, so.
Huh?
What was that?
Sorry, did my mic cut out?
It kind of.
Okay. Sorry, it's all like.
So what would be good examples of bad leaders then? Just bossing people around, lack of communication?
Yeah, someone who puts themselves first instead of the goal of the team. Yeah, someone who they want to be leader just for the sake of the title of being a leader, you know.
Yeah.
I recently had a bad experience with that. My old manager was, she didn't need the job. You know, she was well off enough that, you know, she didn't need the job. And she let us know, you know, that she was only there because she could be. And
that's the worst.
The biggest issue that we had with that was she would go on lengthy vacations frequently. And for the most part, we were left to run her store without her. And you know, working for a company, you have things trickling down from corporate that we didn't know about. So our store was, you know, not doing well. And at the end of the day, it was, you know, her absence. And then she'd come back and be angry that things aren't done and like never had anything positive to say about it. And for us, it was like, you know what, you're a leader, communicate with us.
Right. They can't just shirk their responsibility and expect the team to do well. They still have to be there to coach and to listen and to, it's one thing to delegate responsibilities, but not just like give it to someone and say, okay, I'm out of here. Like, hi.
Right. I think it's important too for like a leader to be pretty positive, like she was saying, like giving positive feedback makes your followers per se want to do well, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, one of the things that there's this gentleman, he's the lawyer for this company that I contract out to. Everybody know who Taser International is? They're the ones with the Taser guns. They sell to the cops and military. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the presidents, probably, he still might be CEO. He's a lawyer, awesome lawyer. And Doug is the guy that doesn't matter if the sky's falling, he will always tell you everything's going to be okay. I mean, he could be under pressure to get a product out. Everybody's running around with their heads cut off. Ah! And he goes, it's okay. You know, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. He's an awesome leader, this gentleman, because he keeps everybody there cool, even the owners. The best thing for a team or leader that I've learned from my experience is you have to train your people to the best of your knowledge. Those leaders that tell you, well, I've taught you what you know, but you haven't learned what I know, are bull crap leaders. And those are the people that you learn as you move up in corporate world or in your life, and you start, you know, and you're in charge of teams. Those are the people you say, what did I learn from that, you know, that crappy leader? How not to be like that.
Not to do, right.
Exactly. And that's what you will always learn.
Yeah, one of the things that the book mentions too is like, you know, how are leaders so effective, you know, by making their followers feel valued. You know, if you're not feeling valued by your leader, you know, you're sitting there thinking, why am I bothering with this?
Exactly.
You know, what do I get out of this?
It's important for a lot of people. It's very important for your leader to always recognize. The only time a true leader takes credit for anything, always remember this, if you don't know it by now, is when everything goes to crap. When everything goes to crap, it's the only time a leader should say, you know what, that's on me.
That's my fault. Yeah.
That's my fault. It's not my team. I didn't train them well enough, or I didn't, you know, prepare them well enough for this project. I didn't give enough information. I didn't give them enough guidance. That's the only time a leader should take credit. Anything else good, anything that's great that the team does, the leader should give credit to his team.
It's a team effort. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, sir. It was all my team. You know, Sarah, Amanda, you know, Angelina. They ran it. You know, they ran it, and they did great.
Right,
You
and
know,
your followers, exactly. And then your followers will follow in your footsteps and say, well, yeah, we all worked as a team, but we also had this great leader. And then everyone is feeling.
Everyone's included.
Yeah.
But remember, that's all, you know, as a leader, and that's something you got to remember is that if your team is doing great, you don't have to say that, well, that's my team, because everybody knows that's your team. If your team's doing great, evidently you're a great leader.
Sure.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. I mean, actions is the biggest things that you could talk all you want, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't produce and you don't get your people to produce, and then it ain't worth anything. And the other thing is you want your people promoted. You want to train them to the point where they get promoted, because that shows what? That you've done great with your team.
That you're a good leader.
Exactly. And a lot of leaders are scared of that.
Right.
Because they don't want them to be better than them.
Exactly. You know, and you got to take it as they're your kids. As parents, we want our kids to do what? Supersede us.
Better.
Be way better than me. Thank God my kids are freaking better looking and great kids, better than me. Because I was a little knucklehead growing up. But
So you did a good job.
Well, I beat them enough, so it was, you know.
Yeah, I do take that one step further, though, as far as like a bad leader, though. Again, the same experience. You have a leader who sees you doing well, and all signs point that you should be moving forward. Sometimes they don't, because they don't want to lose you. You move forward,
True.
you're going elsewhere. They
Yeah.
don't want to lose you. So, I mean,
Then they have to
you
get
kind of
someone
have
else they have to retrain.
Sure. And
Yeah.
I think there was something in the book yesterday where I think it was under like the transformational leaders that they're not afraid to fail or to take a risk. So if you really are inspired and motivating people, you're going to help them be better, and they're going to go off and spread their wings. But you as a leader should be able to roll with that, find someone else who can fill that role,
the next person.
and still continue to accomplish the group's goal.
Exactly. That's what we call the lazy leader. Because at the end of the day, they're too freaking lazy to retrain somebody else and promote this person that's doing so great. Because, oh, now I got to retrain them. Oh my God, this and that. It's funny that you said that, because my wife, she worked at a company. She's an escrow. Now she's a branch manager for an escrow company. Escrow, girls, not escort. People tend to, because of my accent. Escrow.
We know.
So,
we know what you meant.
okay. I said that once. They were like, your wife does what? I was like, what? I was like, hold on. But this guy kept her under him for 8 years before I met my wife. 8 years doing the same job, same position as his assistant, and wouldn't let her build her desk. In other words, get realtors to come and work with her. So this opportunity came up, and I told her to take it. I go, you only take it, they're going to pay you $20,000 more, because you got 8 years invested in this company. Well, she took it, and within 3 years, now she runs 2 offices.
That's awesome.
Instead of saying, you know what, let me get her promoted, get somebody else in here, because at the end of the day, it looks good on them. That you acknowledge this person. As a leader, you have to acknowledge your people's skill set.
And they'll always pay it
train
back
them.
to you too, I feel like.
It does. It comes back around. It
Right.
really does. You know, somebody who's the one that was asking about bad leaders?
Me.
No, she's okay.
Me.
Do you consider, what's the worst leader in history that you girls could think of?
Hitler.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Everybody says, every class I teach, Hitler. Do you know Mussolini killed more people than Hitler?
Yep.
But why do we remember Hitler?
If he was notorious.
Yeah.
What was he? You think he was a bad leader?
Well,
He was a bad guy.
he was a bad person. But he was a leader. He was an icon for a long time.
Actually, he was a great leader.
He got people to join him. I mean,
Yeah.
he inspired them to maybe do bad things, but he still inspired and motivated people to do what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that we consider him to be a monster,
He's a bad person.
that
leader.
little knucklehead was a great leader. Okay, because he got the whole world at war.
Yeah.
Against them, they were the best race, except he wasn't even blonde, so it doesn't, to me, makes no sense.
Yeah.
But goes to show you, even he used his wisdom to be a bad person.
Right.
But his leadership traits were unparalleled.
He was just
When you really
manipulative
think about
leader.
it, of what he did. But you know what? That's what leaders are.
Mm-hmm.
A leader has to be a little bit manipulative, a little bit harsh, a little bit of a cheerleader. You have to be all sets, because if you're just one way, like if you're a cheerleader, oh, go ahead, hey Amanda, go, you did great, all right, oh, okay, and that's it. Amanda's gonna be like, okay, I got him.
Yeah, the other people challenge. Yeah, you have to be the cheerleader for those people who need the cheerleader. You have to be the guy with the whip when the people be whipped, or
You're doing great, but you can
Exactly.
do more.
I tell people you have to be persuasive, and you have to be authoritative to be a very effective leader. Because there are times you have to drop the hammer, especially in the military. When I was in the military, you're in there with a bunch of alpha males. Even some of the females, they're freaking alphas. It just
and yeah,
yeah. So it's and you have to have a balance. to be a leader. You